Hi, welcome to episode 45 of the Lowdown Podcast. So tonight you will notice I am without my best pal Johnny Shields. He is not feeling so well today, so it's not just me today, but it is for the time being. A little bit of an intro to tonight's episode. We are going to be celebrating the download forums as they are finished. Very sad times for someone like me who has been on the forums for a very long time, and there's a lot of my friends on there that are sad to see that happen as well. So we are going to catch up with Trish Rayner tonight, admin extraordinaire, and learn a bit about the history of the Download Festival forums, what's happened over the years, what they've achieved, all those sorts of things. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this episode. A little bit of a different one. We did the prediction episode last week. This one is looking a little bit back into the history about Download Festival's community. So, yeah, thanks a lot for joining us again and enjoy. This is the Lowdown Podcast. Hi, everybody. So, yeah, thanks for sticking around to listen to me chat before we get to the interview with Trish. So, I guess we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on in the Lowdown podcast world. And there's quite a lot of interesting stuff going on with different content creators and, Download Festival's community. So, in the live music and festival scene, we've had one of the first announcements for next year. So obviously we've had Bloodstock already announce, well, a huge chunk of their lineup. So great, great work for them guys. I think they're pretty much sold out now. So if you haven't got your tickets for Bloodstock next year, don't hesitate. You really don't want to miss out on that celebration. They've also revealed that there's going to be 4 headliners next year rather than the usual 3. So it's going to be a special one. Who that 4th headliner is going to be remains to be seen. I personally think it might be Halloween, but who knows? Who knows? But the other festival that's announced this week is Takedown Festival in Portsmouth Guildhall. That's going to be in the 3rd and 4th of April next year. And the headliners for that is going to be President. Obviously, wink, wink, we all know who that is. But if you're a fan, don't miss that. That'll be a first headline festival appearance for that individual and band of masked accompaniments, including some other rumored big players in that band. So, yeah, that should be quite exciting times for anyone who's a fan of President's shtick. I'm not massive on it personally. Don't mind a couple of the tracks, but a little bit overproduced for my liking, if I'm honest. But yeah, and the other one is Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. So many of you'll know Phil Campbell of Motorhead fame, and he does a few of his own band's stuff, but also a big helping of Motorhead. So if you haven't seen Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons, I'd highly recommend it. We saw them at Bloodstock a few years back, and they were a great laugh, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. I'm hoping to see them again soon. I was kind of hoping they'd be maybe at Download, but probably not the case if they're headlining a different festival. But if you're down the south of this country, I think, well, it's a pretty solid first announcement for Takedown. So well done, guys. Really, really good. Um, what's been going on in the Lowdown podcast world? Johnny's bloody ill again. So I think this is a bit of a cursed episode because Trish was not so well last week. Johnny's not so well this week. We tried to record a good few weeks back and they were both ill. So I'm the only one in decent health at the minute, which is saying something for a. I've had type 1 diabetes for 30 odd years, so not bad going for me to be the one in decent fettle for a change. We've been featured, Download Bryn featured us on his artists' predictions for next year. So yeah, thanks a lot for that, Bryn. We're really grateful. to be asked to feature. It's just nice to be included in the chat. Bryn's series of predictions are really interesting as well. He's got some really good insights on who he thinks might be playing next year and why. So go and drop him a like, a subscribe on his TikTok, on his Instagram. It's really good stuff. Another big one for us, and I'm going to be truly honest here, I thought this podcast was perhaps done because this individual had been focusing more on other things. So I'm, of course, talking about Stu, our mate Stu, and his SMTV content has been focused largely on his TikTok and Instagram stuff. And I was hoping it wasn't the case, but trash talking did seem to take a little bit of a back seat. But happy to say, trash talking is back. So they've just dropped episode 20 of that, and that's with the excellent Ben, known to many of you as Chidsvids, and our mate Jaggy Sean. And it's a really good episode. There's some really good chemistry. Obviously, three good friends there talking all about Bloodstock. They do a bit of prediction about Download Festival headliners. Really, really enjoyed listening to that today. So well done, guys. And long may it continue. So that's great. Other friends of ours, Jareth and Robin, have dropped another To The Show episode where they go and watch State Champs. State Champs, another band I keep missing, and I've really no idea why. It's everything just falls wrong every time they're at Download for me. They either clash with someone or something else big is going on amongst our friends, and we just end up missing them. And I really like a lot of State Champs stuff. So, of course, go and check out To The Show. They do some great gig content that'll get us through the winter months. Hoping to catch up with them in December when I go and see Ice Nine Kills and Creeper. So, yeah, really good stuff from them, guys. So, as I said, tonight is a reflection episode, really, on the Download community and the Download boardies that hang out at the Download forum. So we had a little bit of a stay of execution. The forums were meant to originally be closed last Monday, Monday the 1st. We're recording this Monday the 8th, and I think Eamon, Trish, and Co requested an extension so they could just do a bit of archiving and keep some of those chats for years to come. So, like I say, we've got a stay of execution. They're still live as we speak. We keep refreshing, thinking they're going to go anytime. It'll be a very sad moment when we get that 401 error message. We've been, signing up in our droves to the DLFF Download Festival Facebook page, and time will tell how that'll go. I know they're working so hard on getting it up and running, and there's a lot of people from the forums on there, a lot of similar chat, similar topics of discussion and things like that. Hopefully still a great place to learn new music, because that is the number one thing for me, is finding new bands that I might like. Number two is keeping abreast of gig news and festival news. And, well, I suppose the overarching one is the friends I've made there. So I'll still struggle to get used to people's real names, but I am trying. So talking of real names, we are going to be joined tonight by Trish. I very nearly called you like it there. Going back to your maiden name, Trish Rayner, known to many as Polythene Girl. I've only just found out where that username came from, so we'll talk to Trish about that in a little bit. But Trish is, the leader of the admins of pretty much anything to do with Download Festival, unofficial and official Facebook groups, social groups, that sort of thing. She just works so hard for this festival, and me and Johnny appreciate what she does massively. And she's one of the first people I wanted to get onto this podcast following Ree Chandler. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this interview. I'm looking forward to catching up with Trish again. I haven't seen her since Download Festival itself. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the interview. And let us know in the comments what you think. Are you sad to see the forums go? I'm sure they've been monumental in founding this festival that, well, I'm guessing if you listen to this podcast, this festival that you love. So yeah, thanks a lot, guys, and I hope you enjoy. This is the Lowdown Podcast. All right, welcome back, everybody. So, as you can see on the screen, we are joined by the one and only Polythene Girl. It's Trish Rayner herself. So, thanks very much for joining us, Trish.
No problem. I'm looking forward to it.
I wanted to start because I've literally, in the last 6 months, realised what Polythene Girl meant. I didn't realise for ages. It's feeder, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it was
So
just on a feeder tour thing, and I was like, ah, it's been
yeah,
nearly
it makes more
15
sense
years.
then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. No, massive feeder fan. Have been for years. I actually saw them at my first ever festival,
All right.
which was gig in Teen Park in 2001. Showing my age there. Um. I'd never seen them before that. I'd only gone to Tea in the Park for the day because I guilt tripped my parents into it. They they bought me the day ticket because they went on holiday and left me behind, and I had to have an operation on my arm.
Uh,
But they didn't want to cancel the holiday, so they left me with my aunt. So I made them feel really bad about it and got a day ticket to Tea in the Park out of it. Um, there wasn't anybody that I wanted to see. I just wanted to go and do a festival.
yeah.
And it was just as I was getting into the rock and metal world, so just before I came to uni. And yeah, so I saw Star Sailor, Top Loader, Feeder, Texas. Oh God, who else? Beck, who's really good as well. But I kind of just fell in love with Feeder, and then
Yeah.
it's kind of stayed since then. Um, and then yeah, when I was joining the forums, it was kind of like probably not that, but yeah, I think I'd probably just seen them on tour as well, not that long before.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that was it was an album that was on repeat for me for a very, very long time, that album.
I did the same when I was joined an Iron Maiden forum, and I was only, I must have been 13, 14 at the time, and I chose the name The Prowler just as a, because it's an Iron Maiden song I liked. I didn't realize the sort of creepy sort of
The
connotation of
creepy
it.
aspect, yeah.
Yeah. I ended up running an Iron Maiden forum for about 6 years. I met some people at the thing, and people are shouting, "Oh, it's the Prowler!" And I was like, "Oh God, I don't want
That
people
doesn't
shouting
sound,
that." No.
yeah, it doesn't sound great, does it?
So I just went back to my old school login, which was Mike200070, just and I've just stuck with that on the download forums.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where when was your well, so I'll introduce you a little bit first. So I introduced you as admin extraordinaire on the in the preamble, but you wear quite a lot of different hats, don't you, for Download Festival?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been involved in the forums in some way since probably about 2000 and hang on, when did we 2007. So I joined late 2005, early 2006 because I was planning to go to Download 2006. But I was only going with one person who was my partner at the time. I didn't really know anybody else going. So I got heavily involved in the forums, like as in posting and chatting and meeting people and stuff like that. And then April 2007, I got an invite from Carrie and Phil to join the fan forum. So the fan forum's a focus group that Live Nation used to do with a very small group of the community, and they used to do it one after the festival and one in the run up. Um, Now the one in April 2007 was interesting in and of itself because that's where they told us about they had to move the site for 2000 sorry, May 2008, because it was for the 2008 festival, and that was the year that they had to move out of the main kind of inside the racing ring, inside the track, because they turned up on site on like the February, and there was a motocross track had been built where main stage was.
Oh,
And that was like the February. So how do you get a festival up and running between February and June? and that was what they took us through. It was really cool. And they literally had big plans, like proper like building plans and stuff like that, all printed out for us with all the like water lines, electricity points, like the topography for the ground levels, everything, and then basically put us in little teams of four and targeted us and went, right, where would you build it? If you can't go here and you can't go here and you can't go here, where would you put it? And it was really cool. And that was the first time I kind of did anything with the community. And then it's kind of just gone on from strength to strength, really, after that. I did another probably three or four fan forums, and then got kind of more involved in some of the Body Barbecue stuff that Carrie was running and helping out there. And then 2012, Carrie and Phil asked Heather and I, so Hevs and me, to come on as moderators. And it went really well. And then 2014, Carrie and Phil stepped down and kind of handed it over to us. Now, by that point, we had the takeover, we had the RIP pub quiz, we had the charity football tournament, we had the Body Barbecue, and the fan forums, and we did regular meets as well. So it's a lot,
Yeah,
as well as just moderating and admin in the forums themselves,
yeah,
you know. Um, but yeah, you end up wearing many hats because you. I've ended up becoming, and I love it, but have ended up becoming this kind of like liaison go between of that, because you learn an awful lot about it along the way as well. So there's a lot of stuff that people will ask year in, year out, and it's like we don't need to get an answer from that from anybody from the team, because why do you need to? I know the answer to that. We've had
yeah.
this answered 5 years ago, over and over and over again. Um, but yeah, the getting involved in the community the way that I did back then, um, kind of just, I don't know, it's probably snowballed and spiraled a little bit in a good way. But yeah, it was kind of like over and over. It wasn't just answering questions on the forums. As there was a move towards Facebook and other mediums, it's kind of like, okay, you kind of have to shift across there. So we kind of ended up at this point now where, so Tom, my husband and I, Tom and I, we write the pub quiz every year for RIP. Eamon, who's one of our moderators now, hosts it. We've got the takeover, which is primarily Heather and John, with a little bit of input from Eamon and I, but it is their baby. Um, and then on top of that, you've got the actual forums themselves and everything that comes with that. The big 70K Facebook group, which I'm admin of. We've got the newly launched Facebook group as well. And then we've got like admin chats with pretty much every admin of most of the big groups that are out there. So it becomes a lot of project managing, which is a good thing. That's my
Yeah.
actual day job, isn't it? But yeah, so it's kind of changed over the years, but it's event organizer, community liaison, feedback person, Monat, vent app person, a bit of everything really.
Yeah, because I mean, thanks again for including me in the admin chat and everything because it's I think what why one of the main reasons I wanted to do the podcast and I'm guessing one of the main reasons you do your admin stuff is because you want good information to be out there. I hate the thought of people going to a festival and getting loaded with incorrect stuff and finding themselves in bother or in any sort of way uncomfortable or breaking the rules
Yeah,
by totally by accident. So yeah, it's
yeah,
the forums has just been an absolute wealth of getting people's input from knowledge, what to do, what not to do. And yeah, I mean it's been such an amazing community really. I've not been as involved sort of in person as I'd like to have been over the years, just because my download group started quite small and I never wanted to sort of leave them to go off to the barbecue, if you know what I mean, and things like that. But it is such an amazing place, and I know how you feel about it going. We're all very sad. So um,
yeah, yeah. It's definitely been an emotional roller coaster the last few weeks of it all. Um, Obviously, as we're recording this, this is the last day. Don't ask me what time they're actually cutting us
No,
off because none of us actually know.
no, John said before, he's like, we've no
Yeah,
idea.
no idea.
They're
But
all having a battle at the minute to see who can be the last person to post.
yeah, oh, yeah, I was expecting that.
Yeah,
Um, I've spent my breaks from work today finishing off extracting some of the information and some of the posts and things like that. Like there's some really cool stuff. I found a post on there from 2018 from Lawnmower Death who had signed up to the forums to just post on there and say thank you for
ah,
making it a good
amazing.
gig for us. And it's like things like that. And I mean, it's not always been smooth sailing. There's been a lot of ups and downs over the years. Um, but it's definitely been a special place. And it is. It's a shame to see it go. I completely understand the reasonings. And there is part of me goes, I'm surprised that it wasn't sooner.
Yeah,
As much as the forums have been a huge thing for you, for me, for everybody on there, they are a dying art form, unfortunately. The the post count's getting lower every week, every month. And it's not sustainable. So I get it. I understand the reasoning and the choices for it. That doesn't make it any less emotional when you
no,
you have to have that conversation with them. So
no, and it,
yeah.
it's it will be a challenge, won't it, bringing things over to the Facebook group and
Yeah.
kind of getting that right, the same feel again. Um, I said to Eamon last week, I think the work he's doing in structuring things has been really good. It's starting to look more familiar.
Yes.
Because the
Yeah.
amount of times you go on a Facebook group and you think, oh, I wanted to read about that, and you think, I can't find it now.
Can't find it again now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was always going to be the challenge when it was the decision of a Facebook group. We knew that. But this is the benefit of people like John and Eamon, for example, who are so obviously John and Eamon have been our two moderators now since 2022. We brought them on, but they were kind of acting in that realm anyway, without
yeah,
officially being. John had helped with the and supported Heather with the takeover for a number of years. Eamon had been doing the quiz with me for a number of years, so it made sense that it was them. And the really cool thing is that with how they work with Facebook and stuff like that, they're a little bit better at it than me, not gonna lie. But it's also quite nice to kind of take a step back and to see them building their own way forward of it and
yeah,
what it's going to look like for them. Because, at some point, it's not going to be me and Heather forever doing this, although, I think people think it will be. But it isn't, in the same way that um, Carrie and Phil very kindly passed the mantle on to us and knew it was in safe hands. Seeing what Eamon and John are doing with the Facebook group now feels like it's you can almost pass the torch on a little bit and it's theirs. It's
yeah,
theirs to own as much as it's mine, as much as it's Heather's, it's theirs to own a little bit, which is really nice. It means that it's the next generation of what it's going to look like. Um, which, as I say, that's kind of what happened with Carrie and Phil. Um, when they when they stepped back was around about the same time as we moved to the forums in their current iteration, because we had a full switch October 2015. We
yeah,
went from how they were to what it is now, or at the moment, at least for another few hours. And that was kind of the point where, me and Heather, and actually Beamy, Emma at the time as well, Beamy Goth, we kind of stepped up a little bit more. And it was in my realm as well. So I'm a project manager for software. So in the kind of IT side, that's my actual day job. So when we were building the current forums, it was me that actually did all the user acceptance testing and
right.
client end to end testing and stuff. And it was Carrie and Phil said at the time it was really nice for them to step back and like see us flourish a little bit. And that's what I'm trying to see with the oh, that's what I want to see with the Facebook groups, is to see Eamon step in and setting up, as you say, trying to organise it in a nice way, give it a really good feel, make use of the tools that Facebook has,
Yeah.
is really cool because they're making it their own now.
Yeah, yeah, he's an intelligent fellow as well, isn't he, Eamon? He's such a wealth of information on his own, on his side thoughts and things like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I watch that every time he puts anything up. It's really good. Just on Carrie and Phil, do they still attend the festival?
Up until very recently.
Hmm.
So I think it was either last year or the year before was their last one. They haven't been back since. That doesn't mean that they won't be. It just hasn't worked out with the timing for
Yeah,
them. But yeah, even after they'd stepped back from the forums, they were still attending.
yeah.
Um, one of the very nice little benefits that we get, it's not a huge amount of packs from the hours that we put in and everything that we do, but one of the little packs that we do get is where we camp in our IP, we get a little section that's kind of kept for us, which is really nice. So it's a little thank you from particularly VIP Nation, but Live Nation as well for
Yeah.
us. And even after Carrie and Phil had stepped back, they were still camping with us
Ah, nice.
in that little bit, in that little field. Um, Carrie did take great joy in just sitting there with a white Russian and going, yeah, yeah, I can see the stress and
It's
I'm
on you
okay
now.
with not having it. She's like, that's totally on you now, girls. But yeah, yeah, there's still, I say it's just life got in the way for them. It's the only reason they don't still attend.
So I think we've started kind of at the end.
Yeah.
But how about the start of the forums? How did they come to be in the first place?
So it was Clear Channel back in the day rather than Live Nation. But they had a kind of prototype forum, as most festivals and things like that did back in the day. A kind of pro boards attached to a website type thing. And they kind of launched that back of 2003. Then by the time we got to the festival in 2004, they had kind of got this community leader, community moderator in Phil, Hall Halifax. Um, Anyone that's ever met Phil will know he's just a big friendly giant. He's just a big bear, gives the best hugs. But he's also very firm but fair, and people respect him. So he worked really well in that role. They then wanted, because of the success of the community at that point, they then wanted to launch a more formal forums, like discussion boards, message boards, and that was what was launched in 2005. And Carrie came on with Phil as full-time admin. And that's kind of really where the kind of community path started and the kind of community growth started. Everything else has kind of just followed on along from that. We've had other mods and admins over the years, people like Carol, Rach, as I said, Beamy Goth M, who I mentioned, Lewis, Azkeka, CMAP, Chris. We've had more over the years, and it's kind of just evolved as it's went. And as have the community events as well. So, we've had a number of events over the years. The Bloody Barbecue started, I want to say the 2005 festival or 2006 festival, and I can't remember which one it actually was. But it was all because John Probyn got annoyed, who's the festival has been festival director for many years. JP got really annoyed at the boardies on the forums because they wanted to all meet up and have a barbecue. So we're going to be like 100 odd people having a barbecue in the middle of the campsites. And John went, no, 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 that's a health and safety nightmare. No, thank you. I'll give you somewhere to go. And that's how the barbecue started, and it just kind of grew in size from that. Um, the takeover was Live Nation got in touch with Carrie and Phil and said, we've got an entertainment slot to fill. Fill it. There you go. We're stuck for what to do. The boards and the forums are always really active with performers, bands, stuff. Off you go. You fill it. We don't want to. Off you go, you know. Um, and it was the same with the RIP pub quiz. They had a slot to fill. They knew Carrie and Phil, and asked, "Do you want to do something with it?"
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I was shocked to find Hevs sang at their first one. I was
you did
amazed by
indeed.
that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. The first takeover isn't quite what we know the takeover as now, because it was a more of a talent competition
Yeah,
than just bands. But yeah, yeah, Heather sang at the first one.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
one of
Well,
the.
she,
Go on, mate. Sorry, I'll go over you
as
there.
I say, she actually then photographed a couple of them as well as
Mm.
photographer, because that's why Carrie and Phil asked her to step in and moderate, because she'd been getting more involved with those kind of things because she'd been doing the photography for it and stuff. So yeah,
No, it's really cool. I mean, it's such a great event now, and it's such a good thing to be involved with. You know, listening to hundreds and like literally, what was it, over 600 bands this year?
yeah, yeah,
Um, Narrowing them down to a little short list and then having the debates and everything. It's such a cool thing to be involved with, and I think the lineup this year was absolutely stellar. So yeah, long may
yeah.
that
It was a good
continue.
one this year.
Yeah, it's that was another thing that was a bit of a shame when it moved to Wednesday because I can't make Wednesdays.
Yeah, I,
Yeah,
yeah,
the best I can do, I can probably get there about 7 o'clock, but then that's when the takeover starts wrapping up. So
yeah,
yeah, so I haven't been to a takeover in person since 2019 now. Maybe next year. I'll see how we go.
yeah.
I
Hopefully.
absolutely max out my annual leave down to the hour, so I'll
Oh,
see.
it's yeah. It's unreal because I get on site on a Tuesday as well, so I'm off. Well, I finish work on a Monday, and I'm not back till the Tuesday after.
Wow,
So yeah.
yeah,
Um.
full week's holiday. So the
Oh
the the,
yes.
the forums kind of helped shape the festival we know and love, really. So how did the Live Nation Clear Channel? How did they start sort of utilizing it as this feedback loop?
So I mean, way back it was a lot smaller at one point when they first started, and the festival team just used it as a sounding board because they had such a good relationship with Carrie and Phil. They were coming to Carrie and Phil and kind of going, "Well, what do you think of this?" And they're like, "Why don't you just ask on the forums? It's the best way to do it." So at one point we had Andy Copping on there. John Probyn posted regularly. Back in the day, we had Tom the Oracle, who was their kind of ticketing manager. So he was great because he was like the guy who would work with Ticketmaster. So it's like everybody that posted an issue about Ticketmaster, he used to get it sorted right away. The same with the Access team as well back then. So before Ree stepped in and kind of worked on it, we had Jenny, one of my friends. She was doing similar to what Ree was doing, although just on the boards, not on the Facebook group. But yeah, the Access team did the same thing. It became a sounding board for new things, for what you want to see, etc. And then they brought in the fan forums because it written feedback is fantastic, but you'll often get people to be a little bit more open and a little bit more honest when they don't have to think about how to formalize it into sentences and just talk.
Yeah.
Add some booze into the mix, you get some really true answers. So yeah, so they started the fan forums, I think 2006-ish. And I say they did them twice a year for a number of years. Groups of somewhere between 12 and 16 people down to London. Live Nation would pay for the trains, hotels, and some picky food and beers for the night. And you get put in a room with all the festival team. They go, right, ask me any question that you want. So it was a really good way for the forums to be involved without everybody being there. So when the run up to them, we kind of picked representatives, so everybody applied. So if you wanted to go, you applied to it and you kind of said why you would be good to do that. What did you want to ask? why are you the right person to go and talk to Live Nation and represent the community? Um, make the selections, and then everybody got like a topic area, and they had to go and talk to other people on the forums, get the feedback, and come back to us as the admin team with the types of questions that they wanted to ask. We'd provide that over to, we'd vet it because let's face it, there's only so many times John Probyn wants to answer questions about why are there not more toilets?
Yeah.
You can't ask the same things every year, but that was always such a key thing for Live Nation and for the festival team to get the feedback because it was in person, and then it was like you were hearing the whys behind things. But what they also started doing was bringing new stuff. So you'd quite often find out about a band playing, or you just one, or what new exciting thing were they going to do this year, that kind of thing. But it also went the other way where you had the opportunity to challenge them. And this was one thing that JP always said was so good with the forums. Nobody sat back and just said yes. People challenged them, and that's what they wanted because you can't improve if you don't know there's a problem. And putting your head in the sand about it was never the way that John and Andy and people at that ran Download. They never did. They would never put their head in the sand and say, "Do you know what? Don't care. Bye." The answers maybe weren't what people were expecting or wanted, and the issue might not get fixed, but you got the opportunity to hear the answers as to why things were done in certain ways. Um, I mean, the forums did have some pretty big impacts as well. One of our forum members, a few years back, he actually, well, a good few years back to be fair, he actually got the opportunity to go and do all the safety briefings and security briefings and sit in the security room and everything. And the reason for that was because he'd given John such a hard time at the fan forum as to how bad security were that year that John went, "Well, you come and sort it out then. I'll show you what I've got to deal with. Come on." So at the festival, Ian actually got to go and sit in. And one of the things that came out back of that was the numbered bibs. So
Right.
all the
Okay.
security wearing numbered bibs, it was all off the back of that Ian and Wonko being involved in all of that,
Yeah. That's.
you know.
I think that's one thing that not concerns me, but like a little bit skeptical about maybe on the Facebook thing. There was a level of dedication associated with being a forum member. It takes a lot more effort to, rather than it just popping up on a news feed on something you use all the time for something else. You're dedicated, going in, logging in, finding information and responding to it. So that that was really that's something that will be a challenge, I guess, for the Facebook community. And I suppose a lot of that will rest on you guys as the moderators, really, in terms of who's in and who's out. Because you do, I mean,
Yeah,
you do get troublemakers, don't you, in all these fields.
well, we've had troublemakers to
Yeah,
high heaven over the years, even on the forums,
yeah,
you know. But it's about the community that you foster, right? Like if they're seeing us do it and we're setting the example,
yeah,
then that's always been why we get that back. I I almost think in some ways the move to Facebook could be a positive as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people don't use Facebook, but there's a lot who do, who wouldn't sign up to a forum, who wouldn't go looking for that, and it's a
yeah,
completely different lens. The being involved in the big group over the last few years has definitely opened my eyes a little bit to the wider community that's out there. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some questions that get asked that you think, what?
yeah,
But we used to get those on the forum. We always have done. I've lost count of the number of times I've been asked if they can plug their straighteners in a field. No, you
yeah.
know,
How do we get allocated our electrical hookup and all that?
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah,
can't
I
they?
mean, literally, like, where's the closest plug for my straighteners?
No
About
lizards,
30
though.
minute walk that way, you know.
No emotional support lizards, though, Trish.
No, no, no emotional support lizards. Thank you. No. Or
Uh,
helicopters.
helicopters, my word. So,
Yeah.
let's just get back to where I was. So yeah, I mean, you've featured on all sorts of things as well. You've been on official download footage. You've been on Sky. You've been in Metal Hammer. You've been here, there,
Yep.
and everywhere.
Yep. Uh, I'm not the biggest fan of it, I will
No,
say. I would much prefer I would much prefer to put somebody from the community who doesn't get the FaceTime, doesn't get what I get in front of a camera or
right,
on an interview or in front of whatever because they don't get it. And it's such a the first time I ever did anything, it was like, this is really cool. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, but really cool. But it's always us who get the ask. So at this point now, I would rather it was other community members, especially people that would get a leg up, if you like, from it. You know, we put DJ Soundwave, Chris Kerr, in front of Sky, I think it was, or Kerrang, one of the two, because he's DJ'd for years with us at the takeover, and he's I mean, he's going to get a big head if he watches this, but he's a phenomenal DJ. He really is. The same with Spike, DJ Apocalypse. They're phenomenal and they've grafted for us over the years. So I would rather give people like that the chance to be out the front. It is really cool. I think Sky's probably being on Sky Arts is probably the one that is the most like wow. Um, but it's yeah. I mean, we've been on the website, the download website a lot. We've been in the program. We've yeah, been on Kerrang and in Kerrang, Metal Hammer, um, Scuzz back in the day as
wow.
well. Yeah, it's been great.
No, it's fantastic. It's and it is interesting. I mean, I've had opportunities, you know, with great help from yourself over the last year. It's been so cool just getting different angle on a festival that I've loved for so long. So no, it is cool getting that little peek about how little things are ran. I mean, some people wouldn't be interested in the slightest either. Like my dad's like, fine, I'll go and have a
Yeah,
pint. You go and do that. But I really enjoy it. I think it's such a cool little community to be involved with, and it was great this year seeing how passionate the team are as well, because you don't get that. I think a lot of people they just think they're just there, just oh whatever, put an event on, we don't really care. But the
yeah,
amount of passion that they showed was really it was quite it was quite heartening really as a fan of the festival, knowing how much they cared. So that was really good.
yeah. People don't get to see it as much as you do with some of the other smaller festivals like Bloodstock and 2000 Trees and Damnation. Uh, which, if I remember correctly, Damnation started from an idea on the download forums back in the
Wow.
day. Um, but they do. Everybody that I've worked with throughout all the years, from the first year I was involved and being petrified of John Probyn, still standing up to him, but then getting called a gobby Scottish shite, all the way up to the team we work with now of Ellie and Glenn and people like that. They have such a love for the festival itself that it comes through. They don't need to spend the time that they do emailing back and forward and answering questions from me and from Heather. They don't need to come to us and say, right, we're thinking about doing this. Can you just ask in the Facebook groups what people think about it? You know, that kind of thing. There was the first year we had the new village. They ran a poll on the forums to name one of their tents. Um, which was we ended up with the Bell and the End tent because that's the forums for you. But they don't need to do all of that. They could walk away from all of that and it would still be an incredibly successful festival with a good community. But they put the effort in, and that means everything in terms of the community. I mean, a lot of them are members of a lot of the Facebook groups, you
Yeah.
know. And it's great. You know, one of the reasons with the forums going is the cost associated with it. And to free up the cost that would be involved to rebuild, because they need a full rebuild and then maintain, means that there might be something else that they can do for a bigger group in the community, whether that's, you know, something else to Body Barbecue or running a fan forum again after a few years or whatever else. The idea of being able to take that pot of money and put it back into a wider community shows that it's not that they're trying to get rid of the community as such. It's just, yeah,
Just
circumstances to
moving
change.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
As you said, like you've said a few times on the forums and in the Facebook groups that the links with Live Nation, they're still going to be as, you know, as firm as ever. And like you say, things are going to move forward. Um, just because the forums are ending doesn't mean the community feel it's just an evolution, isn't it, really?
yeah. And when the team first spoke to us about retiring the forums, it was something that the team were very clear about. They didn't want the community aspect to change. They didn't want the connections to change. And that's why the Facebook group that's been set up is endorsed by, although it's us that are running it, it's endorsed by them. They'll be giving us all the same information that they would have been through if we were still on the boards. It's still in that way. It's, you know, that's their way of putting the official stamp on it, but still giving us the space to create our own community.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I just wanted to ask, and I've put it, I've written the question, I've put your favorite or maybe least favorite bawdy stories from over the years.
Oh God,
I'll put you on the spot.
that's a lot. Um, I think there was, oh God, I think probably the helicopter thread is one that comes to mind and how that all started. Um, which was literally somebody asking, where can I park my helicopter? We're like, what? But it sums up what the bodies were like at the time. It just became this thread of idiotic responses and pictures of different animals on helicopters landing on motorways. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this anymore. Like, I reached the point where I was like, guys, you're breaking my head now. Like, what? Interestingly, it was John Todd that was at the heart of most of that as well. Um, so yeah, I think like things like that where they snowball. You know, we've had some interesting ones over the years with things like, well, we had Boobgate. You can imagine what that was. We had we've had many football clashes, shall we say? Because obviously when we ran the football tournament, when the football tournament first started, you had AC Brofest and I can't remember the other one now. It might have been, I can't remember the other team, but they were an Inter Brofest. And this became a real like in every area of the forums, anyone that was on either team going at each other, and you're like, guys, can you just keep it to the football section, please? But no. Um, but you know, there's some cool stuff over the years as well, even just not on the forum. Some of the meets that we've had some cracking ones in Nottingham particularly. Um, I've had to be put to bed a number of times. I slid down a wall one night because John Todd and I got a little bit too drunk. Um, and you know, we've had things like Heavy Fest, so down in Kent, I think it was. Um, there was a big body contingent there. That was a fantastic weekend with everybody. And even just down to like my wedding. So when Tom and I got married, we had a table and a half of boardies at
Oh,
our wedding. And it's all just people that we'd met over the years from the various meets and stuff. Um, yeah, I've come across quite a lot today while I've been, well, this week while I've been clearing out some bits. So I'll need to send you some stories and some bits and threads and some expert extracts that we've pulled out. But yeah, I think probably I say the one that sticks out the most for me is the helicopter one because it's kind of snowballed to what it is now, where we literally I have people. Who was it? Was somebody sent me a helicopter keyring in the post? I was like, what the heck? You know, but the other side of it is that it becomes fun and it becomes something that you can look back on with, and chuckle at and stuff. So yeah, um, I mean, there's a lot more risky ones. We've had some real troublemakers over the years. Our Mr. Christopher Keane used to be a very, very bad one at that. He was a bugger for posting things he shouldn't, but then he's such a lovely guy. You can't shout at him because he just says sorry, and you're like, oh, for God's sake. Um,
he's been quiet in the last few years, hasn't he, Chris?
yeah, yeah,
He's popped up on the last few weeks again, which was nice to
yes.
see. But yeah,
It was
no, he's a
nice to
lovely guy.
see him back. He still holds one of the top posters, even though he hasn't been
Wow.
around as much in the last few years. So that tells you how prolific he was at one point.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been really cool and interesting with the forum memories um, thread that's been on there since we announced the closure and seeing what everybody else's memories are of it. And it's been really cool to see some proper old school people come back as well and just let post one last time.
Yeah.
Um, people like Millie and Shanks, for example, who are out in the complete opposite side of the world at the minute in Australia. Slops posting again as well, which is really cool because I mean Slops was such a massive character on the forums for so long, and Scumface played a number of different Baldy events for us over the years as well. So yeah, some of the quieter ones as well. People like Cest coming back and posting's nice. It's just been really nice to kind of have that nice little lull of everybody kind of posting nice things.
Yeah.
So
No, it has been nice seeing people
yeah.
come back and bid farewell to the place. It's really nice. Have you got any other shout outs you'd like to give?
God, I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes back to Carrie and Phil, right? And that's all that always will for me. Um, Carrie and Phil really trusted Heather and I with their baby. You know, and that was massive for me. But thinking back over the years, who was DB on the forums, I've been friends with him for so long because of the boards. I say Keen is now one of my closest friends. John Todd, Eamon, it's the people you would expect me to say. I mean, the other
Yeah.
side of it is people like Ree, for example. I've become really close with Ree over the years, over the last couple of years with the work that she's been doing. She's just such a fabulous woman. Um, but there's people on there that don't get the kind of big name shout outs and stuff like that, but they're always on there as not all the time, but over and over. You were a big one for me for a long time, quietly posting away. You've got people like Joker Monroe, Angry Referee, people like that who just they've got such a quietness in and of themselves, but they just get on with it. And they've made like my life easier over the years because I get to something and it's already answered, and I'm like, oh, happy days. I like this. um, but even people like Amanda and co as well, Shacey, people like that. But you go back further and you think of people like Beamy, who obviously Beamy Goth, she set up what is now the pub quiz every year. Even down to Camp Lona, the originals from Camp Lona. I mean, Ben Wilmot's done wonders over the years working with Camp Lona and liaising with us over it as well. So yeah, I think it's, I think that the kind of big shout out for me is just the community as a whole rather than individuals.
No,
So
no,
yeah,
that's great. And I'm sure I speak for everyone when I thank you as a modern admin as well. It's been we all know how hard you work for it, and yeah, we really appreciate it.
enjoy it. That's the thing.
Good.
Even when it drives me up the wall, I enjoy it.
So I was just going to finish off, Trish, with who are your predictions or hopes for 2026?
I think Linkin Park's nailed on. I really do. I'll be disappointed if they're not. Um, Not for me, but the gut is saying Maiden. You know, I'd like to see someone like Ghost as the third, as a new one, because I think then you've got your big hitter, you've got your returning in Linkin Park that's kind of iconic, and then you've got your kind of up and comer, which is a nice balance.
Yes, that'd be a good
Um,
mix.
yeah, yeah, it would be. I've seen a few people saying, "Well, it's not heavy enough." I disagree, but I think it is. But I think. Yeah, those would be my kind of big choices. I was set on My Chemical Romance for a while, but they're touring now, so they're out,
Yeah.
and I've got tickets for it, so I'm happy.
One of the fortunate ones there.
Yeah, yeah, it's my one of my best friends' 40th next year, and we went to see the Black Parade tour together,
Oh, wow.
for her birthday back then. So we're gonna go to this one for her 40th.
Amazing. I haven't seen them since that tour. And I saw them on the Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge tour as well. So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long time. It would be great to see him again, but also a bit of a shock to the system to see them all like well into the 40s. So like, hang on.
To
So
be
it's not
fair,
right
I
here.
feel a little bit like that about Green Day now, although Green
Yeah.
Day are still the ultimate. I did have a I mean I did have a little cry at Download this year when they played when I was at the launch event last year with Eamon. So Heather and I get an invite or have had an invite the last kind of 2, 3 years, which has been really nice. It's been a really nice pack. Um Nice way of saying thank you and seeing it all. But Heather couldn't make it this year. We don't get plus ones. It's literally just one for each of you. But because Heather couldn't make it because of work, Eamon came instead. So it was really cool for him to see it as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, when they announced Green Day, I did do a very loud scream in his ear, and I don't really think he was expecting that. I get to pick him up off the floor.
It
Um,
was just one of them that you thought it was never going to happen. There was so many years where you thought, well, especially like last year when they chose Isla White instead, I thought, right, if they're not doing it this year, it's never going to happen. And then finally,
I didn't think they would. I didn't think they would, and I feel like it's real. It's a real testament to the direction that Cam's got the festival going in. Um, Andy's been a fantastic festival booker over the years, and he's done some magical stuff with bands. But it's that lineup this year. You could tell that was Cam's baby, and you can really see where he's going with it.
yeah.
And I'm really excited for the future of what he can do and what he can make happen.
Well, it makes these discussions just so much more interesting because we've suddenly gone from like a headliner pool like
Yeah,
that to wow, it could be
yeah,
anybody. So yeah, it's really
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because there has been for years groups of bands that it's always been a well they'll never play. Pearl Jam, a perfect example.
Yeah,
Um, the year that Pearl Jam were announced but not announced by Vodafone, and pulled out. That was a foreign memory. That was stressful as hell. We got the press
yeah,
release through. So we get the press release through basically the day of the announcement. And back then they were doing a headliner a day rather than the big grouping that they do now. So we got the press release through for I can't remember who we did first. Was it Rammstein? I can't remember. But we got the one through for Pearl Jam. Next thing you know, the forums have gone mental. I'm like, what the hell? Carrie was in meetings, Phil was traveling, Heather was in meetings, and I'm sat there like, what do I do now? Like, huh? because Vodafone had leaked it and they had put out the image that was supposed to be done after Pearl Jam had been announced. So but Pearl Jam went, nah, we're done. You can't stick to our agreed schedule. We're out.
Oh no,
Bye. That was a Friday, and they announced Slipknot in either the Sunday or the Monday.
that's incredible that they managed to sort it out that quickly. That was my
Yeah,
first download actually,
it gives you
2013.
it gives you the idea of the type of relationship that Andy has with some of those bands, but also those bands have with downloads. So Corey's well known for it, So it
Yeah,
was always going to be if you're going to get any band of that size, that late, that quickly, it's always going to be a Corey band.
yeah,
You know, you
yeah. He played
further down
twice
the
that
bill you
weekend, didn't
get.
he?
Yeah, yeah. Um, we played no, he played 3 times that
Oh,
weekend
he did acoustic as well,
because he
didn't
did
he?
a so
Yeah,
he did a solo acoustic.
yeah. You're right.
Yeah, don't make me go and check my
No,
spreadsheet.
you're right. You are right. He did 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah, Stone Sour
yeah,
set.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it shows you the kind of relationships that Andy had with those bands at the time that they could do that. But yeah, does this Andy stepping back in a way and the fresh booking team of Cam and Cole coming through, does that suddenly open up Pearl Jam again? Because it's not the
perhaps.
same
Yeah,
people that allowed that to happen. Not that Andy allowed it to happen, but it happened on his watch. So does this
yeah.
suddenly open up? You
It just
know?
shows as well how fragile these relationships are. That it must be such a tightrope to walk all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't keep everybody happy, but
No,
yeah,
no, no. It is exciting times for the festival, and yeah, the future is yeah really bright looking, which is nice. And so yeah, I suppose I'll end with just saying thanks again, Trish, for joining me. We've won. I think I was. I think you and Ree were the first two people I messaged asking to join us. So it's really cool that we've managed to finally get you on the Lowdown podcast. It was a pleasure meeting you in the summer as well. Finally, after all these years.
yeah.
So I've met so many people now that I've only known online for so long. John, Hevs, Eamon, Josh, all these people. It's really cool. Papa Bear. It's
Oh
and
yeah,
Ree.
yeah,
Such nice people.
yeah. It makes a real difference making meeting people in real life after such a long time.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, thanks very much, Trish. All the best for your house move and roll
Yeah,
on download 2026.
indeed. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, mate. See you later.
This is the Lowdown Podcast.
Yeah, thanks again to Trish for joining us on the podcast. One of the first guests I wanted to have on the Lowdown podcast, just because of I just again want to shine little lights on different people that have built this community that we enjoy so much and we value so much. A lot of shout outs from Trish there. There's so many, and apologies if there's any that we've missed. All the people that have made that forum such a laugh over the years. It's been a great place to sort of unwind a bit as well as learn all about music and festivals. It's always been a good bit of banter, a good bit of you know light ribbing and all that sort of stuff. So it will be missed by myself. When I was talking, I told my Mrs. Jane about it. She said, "What are you going to do with your time?" So I'll be busy enough with this podcast and other bits and bobs. But another thing I realised when I was talking with Trish, then I end up looking like that thing when I got these headphones on, and that is not intentional at all. That is not a version of me behind me on the old poster. So yeah, we're gonna have our penalty shootout episodes are going to be coming up soon. We're going to look back at a bit of a download reload series that we're going to do, looking back at the downloads of years gone by, look at how the festival's changed over the years. There's so much to talk about at this festival. It's such a mammoth event. And yeah, in the meantime, plenty of good content out there to keep you tided over with festival podcasts and all that sort of stuff. Please check out the things I mentioned earlier on. And also, I saw that FestPod have put out their live show. They were on after us on the RIP Courtyard stage. So go and check out their live show. It was a great laugh on the day, and they absolutely kept our spirits high during a really unfortunately timed rain shower. But yeah, it was a great time we had there. Well, me and Johnny had a little bit of a too good time because we were full of adrenaline and had a couple of beers and they went straight to our head. So yeah, next week, looking forward to having Johnny back once he's feeling a bit better, and yeah, looking forward to some more Download Festival 2026 content. So thanks a lot for checking it out today. We'll really appreciate it. Please hit the old subscribe button if you haven't already. Helps us, gain new listeners and build a little bit of a following. So we really appreciate you stopping by and having a listen. And I hope you are all doing well. So thanks very much. See you next week.